I'm coming at you here from my think and share. I decided to do this a little bit different this time because I understand that large text blocks are kind of monotonous to read and I can come across a little terse sometimes via text, but this is something that has been on my heart for a really, really long time. So I really wanted to address it, and I hope that this will open some conversation and some thought and some self-actualization and accountability. The topic that I really want to touch on today is self-victimization and competitiveness in women. I see this so often. It just seems to be a really big problem that is running rampant that we don't want to address. It seems like it's become okay for women to treat other women badly as long as they are overall trying to work towards the idea of feminism, not really realizing that feminism saturates every minute tiny behavior that we do, especially from one woman to another. That's why it's so important that women be having this conversation with themselves and others. And I really feel like self-victimization is the biggest reason why women don't have strong relationships anymore. I've never really understood that because I love the relationships I have with the women in my life. I have best friends of almost 20 years and some of the most solid women in my life that have become mother-like figures to me. And every single one of them are better at something than me. Every single one of them are prettier than me in some way. Every single one of them are more successful than me in some ways. And it doesn't make me a victim of my life. I can't say that because poor me, this is why they're not good. Because they are. And I guess that leads to the definition of self-victimization, and that is the fabrication of victimhood for the variety of reasons such as to justify abuse of others, to manipulate others, a coping strategy, or attention seeking. It's all pretty self-explanatory, but basically it's taking your trauma and using it to justify toxic and unhealthy behaviors in yourself. It looks like because this woman made me feel insecure, I can make her feel insecure too. Because the boy that I like finds her attractive, she hurt me, and therefore I am victim in this situation and should get to do what I want to this person. It is taking advantage of victim privilege, because victim privilege is a real thing. In examples of rape victims, there is a reason we rush to their aid, because that's justice. It's what we're required to do, and we should do for women who have been through things like that. But it is still not right to take trauma, fabricate it, and or just use that trauma to manipulate others to take on the responsibility for our self-growth. It might be somebody else's fault that something happened to you, but it is completely your own responsibility to become a better, kinder, stronger person despite that. Examples in my life, and this is all redundant, you guys have probably seen me go through my many moods and phases and just dealing with self-justification, honestly. I've been mentally, emotionally, and physically abused. I grew up in poverty. I have bipolar disorder. I have been cheated on. I have been betrayed by women who claim to be feminist but won't uplift other women with strong voices. I have had women help my significant other with my relationships as a way to destroy them. And all this to say, not that I am special, because we all have our abuse, but if anyone had a reason to be mean because of their trauma, I could use it. I would love to use everything I've been to be mean to people in my life, but you can't. I can't. It does not help me, and it does not help other people. It manifests itself in ways such as pity parties, which is basically just metaphorically people sitting around self-harming. It's literally basically you looking at someone else and saying, I see you got a wound, let's poke it a lot. It's looking at someone and saying, I see you were hurt, so let's get bitter and pour some salt in it. Unlike a doctor or a nurse or a mother who would say, stop touching it. We're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna put some hydrogen peroxide on it and it's gonna burn, but it's gonna bubble all of that infection out. And you gotta stop touching it. We can talk about how you got it. We can talk about how to make sure you never get this wound again. And we can talk about how much it hurts. And we'll keep working on healing it. Every time it hurts a little more, we'll bandage it again. And we'll keep not touching it. But pity parties is basically someone saying, it's fun, I like the reaction that you get when I touch your wounds. And because you react that way, it gives me the right to act that way, when it really doesn't justify anything. It looks like taking critique as insult and attack. It's somebody saying, you really need to stop gossiping, and you taking it as, oh, that person thinks I'm a horrible person and I should never talk to them again. It's somebody coming to you and saying, you should talk to me first before you talk to other people, and taking it as, this person thinks that I'm not good enough and that I'm a bad person, when that was not said. It's, you should clean up after yourself. Oh my gosh, how many times in a day do I get told by my, former roommates and my roommates now that I'm messy, and I know I am, but they don't say it to be mean. They say it because they know I thrive better in less clutter. I just deep clean this entire basement because they prompt me to want to live a better life. I don't take it as an offense, them saying, you're a messy, dirty person and you're gross and you're awful and I don't want to live with you. It's simply, you would live a better and happier life if you would pick up some of your clutter. So I did. It also looks like passive aggressiveness. It's, I don't want to tell you that I'm mad at you, so I'm just going to slightly skirt around you and not talk to you, and I'm going to function in your space, but basically ignore that you exist because your presence makes me feel insecure. It's posting things on Facebook that are shady and passive aggressive and mean and pointed and directed without actually talking to that person and having a real life conflict and finding resolution. It looks like Facebook posts of talking bad about people that have done wrong, but not actually doing anything to fix the situation. It's more pity partying, it's circle jerking, it's congratulating each other on being angry and calling people horrible names. Cool, we all knew that these people are horrible people. That's not the problem. We already know that. You're not really helping anyone by telling more people that they're horrible people. You help people by doing something about it, by seeking justice. And the last one is the one that really, really gets me. It manifests itself in competitiveness. And not competitiveness in a good way, in a I want to be a CEO. It's in competitiveness of one friend, because I have multiple amazing group of very strong-willed individual females in my life, and I am so blessed with every single one of them. All of them are amazing at their own crafts. Some of them are amazing painters, digital artists, dancers, flow artists, cross stitchers, botanists, and they're all beautiful in their own way. Some are tall and thin and beautiful. Some are thick and curvy. Some are athletic, blonde, brown head, alternative, punk, classy, demure, athletic, tomboy. It's across the board, and every single one of them are beautiful and better at something than I am. Or they have some feature about them that I wish I had in myself. And they are still my best friends, my closest friends. The things about them that I love and that I envy don't make me feel insecure about myself, because those women are strong women and their strengths aren't there to make, aren't there to make other women feel insecure. They're there to light and inspire. And so they do. They light me up and they inspire me. My friends who are amazing artists help me be better artists. My friends who are good at finance teach me so much about finance, history, so on and so forth. But I see it all the time. Like when one of my artist friends is doing better than the other artist friend, or one artist friend is getting praised, the other artist friend gets all passive aggressive and grumpy and is like, well, I wish I was a good artist too. No one said you weren't a good artist. They're just simply gratifying and validating this one person. When you clap for them, you create more room for them to clap for you. But when you see a woman succeed, when you see a woman with a loud voice and you don't encourage her, why would she encourage you when you use your voice? If she does, then more power to her. That is an empowered woman who will empower a woman who doesn't empower others. It is an empowered woman who will still heart react and interact with women who have qualities about them that others envy. Because the fact of it all is we're competing against the wrong things. We're competing against a false image. That woman who walked out into the farmer's market and is looking fly and is feeling herself, it's probably the first time she's gotten dressed up in a week, and she just wanted to look good, but she's probably feeling really insecure. And when you look at her and you say, oh, well, she thinks she's pretty because she looks this way, so I don't need to be nice to her, uplift her, is probably having a really hard day. And that one simple comment of, you look really nice today, would make her feel better. It's that girl on Facebook who has, unfortunately, I do use girl and woman uninterchangeably because a lot of females today are still girls, but a lot of women recognize the struggle in other women. There is no competing between women. There is, I am a queen, you are a queen, you have your kingdom, I have my kingdom, I will defend my kingdom while you defend your kingdom, but I do not attack unless I am being attacked. I protect my people at all costs, but I don't go looking for war. I don't go looking for ways to put my people and myself in harm and in ways of toxic behavior. It is uplifting the other women around you, because you understand when the other kingdoms around you thrive, it opens up more pathway for exchange and trade and growth between everyone. Basically, I have had the blessing of meeting some of the most beautiful women that had no clue that I love being their friend. My ex's ex used to come over all the time, and it was beautiful. Even before me and my ex broke up, I loved her. She is a bright, beautiful light. She is artistic and quiet and creative and introverted and adds so much joy to everyone else's life around her. Who am I to take that away from her because I'm slightly insecure because she still hangs out with him? She's attractive. I see it. Am I so dumb to believe that other people would not see it? I am not going to take that away from a woman because sometimes I don't feel it in myself. That is wrong. That makes you the villain. When you self-victimize, that is the result. That is the result that you get. You become the villain. When you stay victim, you say, I never have to grow past this point that I was victimized. I can stay here. And when you do that, you eventually become the villain of your story. You basically become a person who will go out of their way to exact revenge and hurt people who have inconvenienced you, who have made you feel insulted and insecure. It looks like causing gossip and rumors and division because you wanted something more out of yourself and you couldn't give it to yourself. You stay a victim when you stop working on yourself. A victim is a moment. Being a hero is a discipline, and being a villain is in the result of not wanting to have that discipline. It is easy to be evil. It is easy to cause destruction. It is easy to hurt other people. But it is really, 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 really hard, and the sign of someone who wants better for the world, to say, you know what? Yeah, I've been hurt, but I'm not going to hurt other people. People have talked bad about me behind my back, so I'm not going to talk bad about people behind theirs. It looks like I'm going to encourage and validate that woman who wants to make a difference, because I know that I want to make a difference too, and together we're stronger. I am not the victim in my situation, and therefore I will not create any more victims in my wake. Yeah, but that's basically the gist of what I had to say. I understand if it's a lot. I do want commentary. I want conversation. I want people to start talking about the ways that they're holding themselves back and start looking into themselves, because you're more than being a victim. You're more than that moment that someone took away your own control. You have the right to take it back. You have the right to say, I'm going to be kind even though other people were mean. You have the right to say, I'm going to encourage others though there are people who discourage me. And yes, there are always going to be those vapid, shallow, mean, evil, dark people who are always going to take advantage of your kindness, who are always going to be nice to get something in return, who are always going to tell you what you want to hear to get what they want out of you. And there are going to be those people who use your message of goodness to get attention for the wrong reasons. But that shouldn't stop you from being kind. That shouldn't stop you from loving, because you're not a victim. You're a hero. You're a survivor. You're a warrior. You're a queen. And you have the reasons and the resources and the abilities to grow. Reach out to your fellow woman. Let them know of your insecurities. Let them know of the things you're working on. And let them have the same opportunity. And be honest with one another. When you see someone doing something that's really hard, like hindering the cause of feminism, say something. Because as it says in the song Flawless, feminism is somebody who believes in the social, economic, political, and just overall equality of women. It is not competing for the affection of men. It is not competing for the validation of others. It is not competing for more likes. It is not competing for more Eurokays. Feminism is believing that you're as good as I am, and you have struggled like I have. So I'm going to encourage you, and I'm going to let you know when your darkness is taking over people and squashing out other people's light. Self-victimization is the enemy of self-growth, and I believe that you are all worth so much more than being in the moment that you were victimized. I'm sorry for that rant, but I do want to thank you guys. Anyway, any comments, please leave below, let me know, and I love you guys. Keep seeking the light, and I hope that you have a good day.